Star Galaxy, the new world story of Punjabi superhero. Book 1, Protect and Survive Earth plus bonus chapter. English edition, Volume 1. Current reading progress. Now reading Book 1, Chapter 1, The First Warrior Awakens, Part 1. Chapter Overview. A hidden cult performs a forbidden ritual deep beneath Goa. A cloaked girl watches from the shadows, unaware she's glimpsing the rebirth of an ancient darkness. Far above, an ordinary Punjabi boy named HR oversleeps, jokes his way through disaster, and unknowingly steps closer to his destiny. Comedy meets mystery. Light collides with shadow. The prophecy begins to stir again. 3 timeline. Date 2025. Modern era. Location Goa, India. Urban coast and forest outskirts. 17 focus of this part. The dark ritual that awakens the first echo of darkness. The ordinary life of HR before his power reawakens. The first intersection of 2 unknown warriors whose fates are bound. Every beginning hides a memory. Every shadow hides a truth. Adaptation format: anime-style light novel. Genre: fantasy, mystery, action, comedy. Age rating 16+, mild violence and thematic suspense. Scene 1, The Underground Glimpse, Suspense Opening. The night was silent, cloaked in heavy shadows. Beneath an abandoned site outside Goa, a secret chamber flickered under dim lights. Dozens of hooded men chanted around glowing symbols. At the center stood their master, arms raised toward the swirling energy above the stone floor. Blue wisps of chi spiraled upward from trembling captives, drawn into a dark sigil. The air trembled. And then 2 crimson eyes blinked open within the smoke. The master's voice faltered. This wasn't part of the ritual. From high above, hidden among the rafters, a mysterious girl watched, dagger in hand. So, this is what they're doing here. Her foot slipped. Crack! The sound echoed. There! Someone's here! Torches flared as the cult rushed upward. But before the blades reached her, a swirl of smoke burst, whoosh! When it cleared, she was gone. The master stared at the fading red glow, whispering, "Someone dared to spy on us." The light sputtered and died, leaving only darkness. Cut. Suspense end. Scene 2. HR's morning comedy. Trrrr! Trrrr! The alarm screamed like a dying robot at exactly 6:30 a.m. Under a mountain of blankets, HR groaned and pulled the pillow tighter over his head. If I ignore it, maybe time will ignore me too. He lazily slapped the phone screen, shutting the alarm off. Silence returned. Within seconds, snoring resumed. 080 AM. Beep, beep, beep. HR's eyes shot open. His brain froze. Then, I'm late again! He leapt from the bed like a rocket, only to slip on his own bedsheet and crash to the floor with a thud. Small text gag. Critical hit. Still survived. He scrambled up, brushing his teeth with one hand while wrestling into a half-buttoned shirt with the other. One sock on, one sock missing, a shoe clamped in his mouth. Papers flew everywhere from his bag as he sprinted around in pure chaos. Downstairs in the kitchen, his mother calmly flipped parathas on the pan as though the apocalypse upstairs didn't exist. "Mom, why didn't you wake me up?" HR yelled, charging past the kitchen doorway like a storm.
Without even looking up, his mom replied, deadpan, "You were too busy being a great warrior in your dreams. How could I disturb the champion?" HR froze mid-step, toothbrush still sticking out of his mouth. Tears welled up as he cried, "Warrior? Mom, I'm not a hero. I'm today's zero." At the mirror, HR caught his reflection. For a moment, he saw himself as a glowing hero, turban shining, sword blazing, aura crackling with light. Reflection HR shouted dramatically, "One day, the whole world will know my power." Reality HR blinked. The toothpaste drooled down his chin. He sighed, "Yep, just late again." Bursting out of the house, he skidded across the wet road with his bag half open. He hopped on his bike, one shoelace still untied. "Boss will kill me if I'm late again. This is it. Today's the doomsday." The engine roared to life. Vroom! R zoomed down the shortcut road, heart pounding, unaware that fate itself had already set his path. Ta-da! End Scene 2. Scene 3. The Shortcut Road and the Stranger. The shortcut road outside the city was still damp from last night's rain. Puddles glistened under the early morning sun. Vroom, vroom. HR's bike thundered across the lonely road, his shirt half tucked. HR shouting over the wind, "Boss, I'm coming! Just don't fire me today!" Suddenly, a figure in a hood stepped into the road, hand raised. "Brother, could you give me a ride?" HR slammed the brakes, the bike skidding slightly. "What? Are you trying to die, man? Don't just jump in front like it's Bollywood." The hooded man chuckled softly. "Apologies, I need just a lift, nothing more." HR squinted at him, then shrugged. "Fine, hop on. But one rule, no hugging me from behind. That's strictly forbidden." Chibi gag panel, HR blushing furiously, imagining a guy hugging him from behind. The man climbed on silently. The bike roared back to life. After a moment, on the way, the man spoke in a calm, low tone. "My name is Ravi. And yours?" HR puffed out his chest proudly, striking an imaginary heroic pose as he rode. "Harvinder Singh Sandhu, but everyone calls me HR." He grinned, imagining a shining title card in his head. HR, the future hero of the world. Ravi tilted his head slightly, eyes hidden under the hood. "A good name. I'll remember it." His voice was almost a whisper, drowned slightly by the wind. Soon, the office complex came into view. HR stopped the bike hurriedly. "All right, this is my stop. Good luck, bro. Don't do anything creepy while I'm gone, okay?" He dashed off toward the gates, bag flapping open, papers spilling everywhere. Ravi remained still, standing under a nearby street lamp, his phone glowing faintly in his hand. In a low, almost unearthly whisper, he spoke into it. "Target identified. The first warrior has been found." Lightning cracked across the morning sky. Cra-thoom! End Scene 3. Scene 4. Office Blues. HR burst through the office doors, shirt half tucked, one shoelace flapping loose, bag spilling papers behind him. He tried to slip quietly to his desk, acting innocent like he hadn't just sprinted across half the city. HR muttering, "Okay, calm down. If I sit still enough, maybe the boss won't. Bang! The office door slammed open. HR! The boss stormed in like a roaring bull, red-faced and gripping a file so tightly the papers bent. Late again? And this is your work? He shouted, slamming the file onto HR's desk. The pages scattered like startled pigeons. HR froze, eyes wide, voice trembling. Boss, I can't explain. Explain? The boss thundered. You're lucky your father was my old friend. Otherwise, you'd be out of here long ago. The words hit HR like arrows. He lowered his head, eyes watering slightly. Dad, you're not even here anymore, but I'm still getting scolded in your name. The boss huffed and stormed back to his cabin, every footstep echoing like an earthquake. Thud, thud, thud. HR slumped into his chair, tears comically pooling in his eyes. I'm the luckiest guy on the planet. Why me every single time? I'm crying? Nearby coworkers whispered and giggled. Look, he's crying again. HR snapped, face turning chibi angry. Shut up, you guys! Sunk. A hand landed on his shoulder. Cheer up, bro, a teasing voice said. HR turned. It was Ajay, his best friend, the office's self-proclaimed mood manager. Ajay grinned, leaning casually on HR's desk. Same story again, huh? Boss rage, you panic, and the world moves on. HR sniffled dramatically. Why am I like this, Ajay? Maybe I'm just born unlucky. Ajay crossed his arms, grinning like an anime hero giving a speech. Unlucky? No, my friend, you're just a protagonist who hasn't awakened his powers yet. HR blinked, unimpressed. What? Ajay pointed dramatically at the ceiling, sparkles flying, imaginary of course. One day you'll realize your true purpose. Until then, stop crying, or all the girls here will keep thinking you're the office baby. HR's face turned red. What? Ajay, don't say that so loud. Laughter rippled through the room. Ajay snorted, clearly proud of his chaos. Then, lowering his voice like a conspirator, he leaned close. Okay, listen. I've got a mission for you tonight. HR frowned. A mission? Ajay whispered seriously. If you don't come tonight, I'm doomed. HR squinted. What does my coming have to do with you? Ajay sighed dramatically, waving his arms. My girlfriend's bringing her best friend, okay? And her friend refuses to hang out if it's just me and my girl. She says it'll be awkward. So, unless you come along, my entire date is canceled. HR stared at him blankly. You're kidding, right? Ajay grabbed his shoulders like a tragic anime hero. If you don't come, my girlfriend won't come. And if she doesn't come, my love story dies tonight. You're the only one who can save your poor brother's heart. HR blinked slowly. So, basically, you're my romantic bodyguard. Ajay's eyes sparkled. No. My wingman of destiny. HR facepalmed. You're unbelievable, man. Ajay smirked. So, you're in. HR groaned, sighing in defeat. Fine, but if this ends in chaos, I'm blaming you. Ajay laughed, patting his back. That's the spirit. Tonight's going to be unforgettable, HR. HR muttered under his breath. Yeah, unforgettable disaster maybe. End scene 4. The Wingman of Destiny.
Scene 5, 2 weeks earlier.
The Oath of the Forgotten. Goa, industrial outskirts, 2 weeks before the present day. Inside a silent private warehouse, flickering bulbs cast uneasy shadows over a crowd of nearly 90 people. Men and women from different walks of life stood restless, the rejected, the broke, the hopeless. At the center stood Evil Master, his face hidden beneath a black hood. His voice was deep and steady. You all have felt it, the pain of being invisible. You screamed for help, but the world turned away. They mocked your struggle, your dreams, but I see you. The hall fell completely silent. Evil Master took a step forward, his boots echoing against the cold floor. You don't belong to this rotting world anymore. You belong to a new order, one that will rise from the shadows. With me, you will gain power beyond fear and purpose beyond life itself. Murmurs rose among the crowd. Some nodded, others looked at each other with a spark of hope and madness. Evil Master lifted his hand, and his followers stepped forward with small black pendants engraved in red, the mark of darkness. The air felt heavier as each pendant was passed from hand to hand. These symbols bind you to a greater cause, Evil Master declared. Together, we will reshape the world that betrayed us. No more weakness, no more mercy. From tonight onward, you are mine. A beat of silence. Then, as if under a spell, the crowd raised their voices together. We are with you, Master! The sound rolled like thunder inside the warehouse. Evil Master bowed his head slightly, a cold smile curving under the hood. Good. You've chosen wisely. The world will soon remember our name. He turned his back to them, raising one hand toward the dark ceiling. Now go home. Live as you always have. When you hear the call again, return. Your real journey will begin then. The crowd bowed in unison, their voices low and devout. For the new order, for the Master. A loud clang. The heavy steel doors of the warehouse slid shut. Exterior shot. The camera pulls back into the rain-soaked night. The warehouse stands still and silent. Only the distant rumble of thunder echoes through Goa's industrial ruins. Fade to black. End of Scene 5. The Oath of the Forgotten. Please read this notice before continuing. Hey everyone! Let me tell you, this is my own story that takes place in another world. But if you think about it carefully, something like this could also happen here, hidden from our eyes. If you've watched this story up to this point, that means you like it. And that makes me truly happy. From here, the journey will only get longer and more exciting. So please support me as much as you can so I can upload the next chapters faster. Your feedback and support tell me that you want to see more, and that really keeps me going. Warning: please do not copy this story or try to make a web series, comic, or anime adaptation without my permission. This story is my very old work and I have legal rights to it. Thank you so much, and please keep watching till the end. Scene 6, Cinema Night. Goa City, present day, evening. Neon signs blinked lazily over the crowded streets. Outside the Galaxy Cinema House, Ajay's blue car rolled to a stop. Finally, Ajay grinned, straightening his jacket. Hero HR, tonight you'll witness the power of popcorn, love, and pure chaos. HR adjusted his turban neatly in the mirror, frowning. Chaos or your usual date plan? Ajay laughed. Come on, Singh Sama, my girlfriend's here, and she brought her friend for you. HR froze. Wait, you did what? Ajay smirked. Relax, she's nice. Just don't mention your office crying sessions. Ajay, HR groaned, face-palming. Star, outside the car. Two girls waited under the neon glow. Aditi, Ajay's cheerful girlfriend, and beside her, Mira, quiet and curious, eyes scanning HR with polite interest. Aditi waved, "You're late!" Ajay, dramatic bow, "Fashionably late, my love." HR muttered, "Or habitually." Ajay introduced them. "Ladies, this is Harvinder Singh Sandhu, but we call him HR." HR smiled awkwardly. Hi, just HR is fine." Aditi teased, "HR, like human resources?" Ajay leaned in, grin widening. No, heroic Romeo." HR's face turned red. "Shut up, Ajay." Everyone burst into laughter. Popcorn. Inside the cinema. The lights dimmed. Popcorn flew. Laughter echoed. Ajay whispered something funny to Aditi, who giggled. HR sat beside Mira, hands on his knees, unsure where to look. Then a father-son scene flickered on screen. Soft music, a broken promise. HR's smile faded. His eyes reflected the glow. "Dad, if you were here, would you still be proud of me?" Walking HR. Suddenly, HR stood up quietly. The chair creaked, popcorn spilt. Ajay looked up, raising an eyebrow with a teasing grin. "Oh, hero, where are you going? Shooting your dramatic exit scene already?" Then, noticing HR's serious face, his tone softened. "Bro?" HR whispered, "Not feeling well. I'm heading out." Ajay grabbed his arm lightly, voice low. "Hey, what's wrong? Is it about your dad again?" HR hesitated, forcing a half smile. "Maybe. I need some air, Ajay." Ajay softened. "All right, go, brother. Don't worry about us. I'll handle everything here. Take care, okay?" HR nodded gratefully. "Thanks, bro." He walked toward the exit, the theater lights fading behind him. Ajay's comedy cover-up. Aditi frowned. "Everything okay?" Ajay forced a laugh. Yeah, HR's fine. He's just on his secret mission, emotional support hero duties." Mira smiled faintly. "He seems kind." Ajay puffed his chest. "Kind? He's too kind. That's his main problem. Always the main character, never the villain." Aditi rolled her eyes. "You're jealous." Ajay pointed at her dramatically. "Jealous? I trained that man." The girls giggled as Ajay sighed. "Great, he leaves early and I still lose the spotlight." Outside the cinema. HR walked alone under flickering streetlights, puddles glimmering after the evening rain. He ignored Ajay's buzzing call, eyes on the cloudy sky. "Dad," he murmured, "if there's something I'm meant to do, then show me." A low thunder rolled through the night. Across the street, unseen, a hooded figure, Ravi, watched silently, blue eyes glinting in the dark. He's starting to awaken soon, Ravi whispered. Fade out. End of Scene 6, Cinema Night. Night 7. The Lonely Road and the Unknown Girl. Time, 9 p.m., Goa City. The streets near the cinema were almost empty now, the neon lights fading into drizzle and fog. HR walked slowly, replaying his day in his head. Great, boss embarrassed me, dad's going to hear about it, perfect ending. He kicked a pebble, staring at the ground, too lost in thought to notice he had drifted into the middle of the road. Suddenly, bright headlights flared. A car tore around the corner, engine roaring. Hey, move! A blur dashed from the side, a girl, and slammed into him, shoving him out of the way. The car whooshed past, wind cutting their faces. SFX, whoosh, thud. HR blinked, dazed. What the hell? The girl stood, breathless, rain dripping from her hair, eyes sharp with anger. Are you out of your mind? Walking in the middle of the street? Do you have a death wish? HR got up, shaking water from his turban. I was just thinking, okay? Thinking? Try seeing next time, she shot back. You've got eyes, right? HR's tone sharpened. I said I get it. I don't need attitude on top of everything else today. She crossed her arms, unimpressed. You sure you have eyes? Because from here, it looks like they're sitting on top of your head. HR blinked. What? She smirked. You know, eye on top. Fits you perfectly. HR frowned, half annoyed, half stunned by her confidence. Whatever. Thanks for saving me, I guess. He turned away, walking into the misty street. The girl watched him go, shaking her head. Ch, eye on top, she repeated under her breath, a faint smile tugging at her lips. But as she watched him walk away through the mist, her smile faded into something else. Curiosity. There was something different about that boy. He'd been reckless, loud, even rude, yet he still said thank you. People usually shouted, cursed, or ran. He looked frustrated, but not hollow like most she'd seen. Somewhere behind that anger, there was kindness. Her gaze lingered on his fading silhouette. Strange, there's something different about that boy. A light breeze brushed past her face, carrying the echo of his hurried footsteps. She sighed quietly, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Lightning flashed once more across the sky, reflecting in her eyes, calm but searching. Then she turned and disappeared into the shadows of the street. Fade out. End of Scene 7. Eye on top. Scene 8. The Investigation. The Hidden Ritual. Time, 9:20 p.m. Forest outskirts near Goa. The forest lay heavy with mist and silence. A faint drizzle clung to the air, as a single cloaked figure moved between the trees, the mysterious girl. She had been tracking a group of dark-cloaked men through the forest, their hushed voices and secret gestures guiding her deeper into the wilderness. This place couldn't be found by ordinary means. The entrance only revealed itself to those bound by darkness or to someone powerful enough to sense its aura. The men stopped before a rusted metal hatch buried beneath tangled roots. One of them knocked twice, paused, then once more. The metal door groaned and slid open, exhaling a faint, cold mist. Moving like a shadow, the mysterious girl kept low and close behind them. When the last of the men descended, she slipped silently through the opening, unseen, following them into the secret underground chamber hidden beneath the forest floor. Inside, the underground hall. The passage opened into a vast chamber carved deep beneath the earth. Cold mist curled through the air, carrying a faint metallic scent. The mysterious girl slowed her steps, eyes scanning the alien-like walls that pulsed faintly with dark energy. She had seen only a fraction of this place, barely 8% by her own reckoning, yet even that glimpse told her one thing. Whatever this structure was, it didn't belong to the human world. A low chant rippled through the hall. Dozens of robed followers stood in a wide circle around a glowing sigil etched into the floor. At the center stood their master, Victor, the devoted pawn of darkness, arms raised toward the swirling energy above the stone. Around the sigil knelt the last of the weak recruits from the nearly 90 people he had gathered 2 weeks ago. Those stronger in will had become his followers. The weakest were brought here tonight as offerings. They trembled, eyes hollow, voices shaking as the chant grew louder. Victor's voice rolled through the chamber, deep and commanding. You have come here seeking a new destiny, but destiny demands sacrifice. The air thickened. Blue wisps of chi spiraled upward from the captives, twisting into the sigil like smoke. Their cries faded, then their bodies too began to dissolve into light. The mysterious girl gritted her teeth. He's killing them. I have to stop this.
She shifted forward, ready to strike, but the ritual had already consumed its prey. Every trace of the victims vanished, absorbed into the symbol. And from that lightless center, a shadowing figure began to rise, a tall column of dark mist folding into shape. Victor's eyes widened, the chant around him faltered. This wasn't part of the ritual, he whispered. The mysterious girl stared, awe and horror mixing in her chest. What is that thing? She leaned in, curiosity overriding caution, and her boot pressed onto a loose shard. Crack! The sound exploded through the hall. Every hooded head snapped upward. There! Someone's here! The escape. Torches flared, shadows leapt across the walls. The mysterious girl cursed under her breath and vaulted onto a beam. Blades flashed through the air, shk, clang, missing by inches. She twisted, flipped backwards, and threw down a black sphere. Whoosh! Smoke erupted, swallowing the torch's glow. When it cleared, she was gone. Only the fading echo of her steps lingering through the tunnels. At the center of the sigil, Victor stared at the swirling darkness, his voice trembling. Someone dared to spy on us. So instead of the flame sputtered once, twice, and died, we'll use a closing that gives a sense of suspense and transition, one that directly hints that something else is about to awaken. Here's the final corrected last line of Scene 8. The flames shuddered, their light twisting unnaturally, then froze, as if something vast and unseen had entered the room. The chamber fell silent, waiting for whatever came next. Cut, suspense, end, transition to Scene 9. Scene 9. The darkness appears, cliffhanger, and prophecy reveal. The hall was still breathing. Whispers of burnt incense clung to the air. The sigil on the floor pulsed faintly, as if it still remembered the souls it had devoured. Victor stood alone in the center, chest rising in shallow, uneven gasps. Then the temperature dropped. Every torch bowed inward, its flames stretching toward the sigil before snapping out. A single sound echoed through the chamber, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. The smoke coiled, thickened, and split open. Out of that darkness, a shape rose, taller than any man, vast enough to make the walls tremble. 2 eyes ignited within it, crimson suns burning in the void. Victor staggered back, voice breaking. No, this isn't possible. The confidence drained from his face, fear twisted what remained. His servant, shaking beside him, whispered, "Boss, who is that? Why do you—" Slap! Victor's palm cracked across his cheek. "Silence, idiot! Do you not see? This is our true master, the king of evil himself. This is darkness, the one who existed before light, before creation." The servant fell to his knees, trembling. The air rippled with a low vibration that wasn't sound, but dread itself. Victor dropped, forehead pressed to the cold stone. "My lord, Darkness-sama, forgive my ignorance. Welcome." The entity moved, its mass shifting like a living storm. Lightning, black and scarlet, flashed within it. When it spoke, the world seemed to pause. Silence, pawn of shadows. 1.728 million years, and at last the prophecy moves. 1.728 million years ago, a prophecy was written in flame. 7 warriors would rise from the dust of dying worlds, reborn to erase me. The words pulsed through the air, each one scraping across Victor's soul. My heart froze. Each word felt alive, breathing inside the darkness. Now, the cycle stirs again. The first has awakened today in this world. Victor lifted his eyes, trembling between devotion and terror. "My lord, give me your command. I will not fail you." A deep rumble rolled through the stone, cracks webbing outward from the sigil. The red eyes narrowed. Before his memory returns, find him, destroy him. You will feel his presence before dawn in the silent quarter of Goa. Victor's mouth curled into a broken grin. "As you command, my master." The shadow leaned close, its voice a whisper colder than death. "Do not disappoint me again, Victor." The sigil burst in a flash of crimson. Wind screamed through the chamber, shredding every torch, swallowing every sound. When the chaos ended, only Victor remained, kneeling in perfect darkness, the echo of that voice still ringing in his skull. He laughed once, low and trembling. The hunt begins. Thus begins the hunt for the first warrior and the dawn of the new world. To be, continue.